Oh man, 24 hours? And 243 gems to speed it up? What the... Hello you guys, this is Rimon aka the... Never mind, what's the point in being optimistic? This bullcrap is going too far now. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, I mean the microtransactions. I know this topic isn't new anymore, but some recent games have brought this concept, which was first thought to be harmless, to a whole new dangerous level. The biggest, more recent example of this monstrosity is Dungeon Keeper, a remake of the old game, but now it's being released on mobile phones. And you may think, what's so bad about releasing a remake on mobile phones? Well, everything! Because mobile phones and tablets have become the most exploited platforms for microtransactions so far. Do I need to remind anybody of Star Trek Traxels, where you build and expand your rooms on your own Enterprise ship and buy new crew members with crystals? However, you cannot advance in the game past level 2 without spending cash for crystals in order to reduce the length of each timer, which is set to everything you want to build or use to expand your ship. The prices that these games currently wield are outrageous, but if you thought that Star Trek Traxels was bad, then you got another thing coming with Dungeon Keeper. For example, in Star Trek Traxels the amount of time you had to spend to complete tasks without spending money was already very long, but in Dungeon Keeper these times are actually ramped up so much that it's fucking impossible to play the game without paying. It has actually come to a point where free-to-play games have become impossible to play without spending money. Although, whereas in Star Trek you might have considered to wait a few hours to complete those tasks if you were absolutely refusing to pay money, but in Dungeon Keeper you cannot wait for it because there's actually 24 hours time needed to mine one, yes you hear me, one stupid fucking patch of ground. The only way to speed up this process is to spend hundreds of gems, and in this case 234 gems, and the prices of these gems are outrageous. Just look at the most expensive ones, which are supposed to be the best value. They're almost 70 British pounds for 14,000 gems, which is roughly calculated nearly 84 euros. Now you can say that you get a lot of gems in return for that money, but if you calculate that into how many patches of ground you can mine with it, then that's about 60 patches of ground you can mine faster with that, and that's only if you spend all those gems on mining, because there are other ways to spend those gems as well. So if you like to buy a lot of other stuff, then let's say you can roughly estimate it only mine 40 patches of ground. Now I cannot believe that among us gamers there are idiots running around who would pay this amount of money for such a stupid game. Those numbfucks even rated the game for mostly 5 out of 5 stars as well. Can you believe that shit? Now let's get one thing straight about these prices as well here people. If I use key shops for PC games only cost about 25 or 30 euros a piece, or I wait until the Steam sales for perhaps even better prices, then I can buy myself at least 3 complete PC games for the same amount of money that you spent on gems to mine between 40 and 60 patches of ground. The only people that I think would pay this amount of money for a stupid game like this are either mentally retarded, too young to understand the concept of money, or have been spending too much time in the kitchen or a manicure salon. And yes, that's a joke against housewives, and no, that isn't meant to be discriminating against women. It's a known fact that housewives are unemployed people who spend a lot of time at home, spend a lot more money on ridiculous things without thinking about it. How else would you think that those ridiculous items that they sell on the television shops make a lot of profit, while most of us with a brain all know that those items are complete garbage? The only reason why shit like this from EA gets tolerated and even sells is because stupid people around the world make the economy rich. And I'm not just looking at America for this, because there are a lot of stupid people in Europe as well who do this. Just think about it. If there weren't any stupid people around anymore, then who would still impulsively buy the biggest crap on the market? Or why would there still be a need for commercials? Smart people look at things in a skeptic way and don't fall for the most simplest and ridiculous advertisements and promotions. It's the same with the last 2 Call of Duty games or Battlefield 4. I really wonder which immature and brainless people still buy it when even loyal fans of both these franchises begin to turn against the franchise and stop buying it. Then you gotta be really stupid to step in that turd if even the most loyal fans of that franchise don't buy it anymore. The same happened with Dungeon Keeper. All the fans of the older game are outraged that this game has been raped and butt-fucked by EA. And they rightfully should be, because I was outraged by Battlefield 4 as well, because I love that franchise, and this puts the whole franchise in a bad spotlight. I can't even name all the franchises that EA has ruined in their career. But even though microtransactions have been present within the franchises that EA has sold for a long time already, they only became really bad since Dead Space 3, because that was kind of a turning point where the items in the game that were sold didn't really add to the fun anymore, but just gave an unfair advantage to the player instead. Whether it was a single player or a multiplayer didn't really matter to me anymore, even though with multiplayers it's hurting a lot of other players as well, while in single players it's ruining only your own experience. But this concept goes as far back as Battlefield 2 with their Special Forces expansion, where those overpowered weapons from that expansion could be used on standard vanilla maps against players who did not own that expansion yet, causing a lot of frustration among those players. By the way, I don't know if anybody has noticed this yet, but lately the amount of games that allowed cheat codes have been reduced to almost none. Now you may ask what cheats have to do with microtransactions. Well, to put it simple, the last 2 years those items have become basically a simple replacement for cheat items. In their core they're just paid cheat items, nothing more. In the end, I'm just ashamed to call myself a gamer if this is what the future of gaming will look like, because believe me, this disease will spread to other platforms like consoles and PC as well. EA and other companies are just testing this out on the smallest platform at the moment to see with how many butt fucking they can get away with. And if they screw it up on a mobile platform, then that's not a big loss for them, because the biggest fans are found within PC gaming and console gaming. So don't fucking buy this crap, because you're ruining gaming for everybody if this becomes successful. Just look at the impact on gaming that Call of Duty and their DLC has left. Because while everybody was saying years back that this wasn't going to be a big deal, we now see that years later most of our games are often being ruined by similar DLCs. So stop being ignorant.
It's ignorant, you're being ignorant.
And get a grip on yourself, because these companies will only follow the smell of money, and whatever earns them the most money will get used the most. Why else do you think that free-to-play is becoming so popular amongst those developers and publishers? I can tell you one thing, it's not becoming popular because it's actually free to play it. And Dungeon Keeper, you're not digging for resources and gold yourself, it is in fact EA digging for the money in your pocket. And try to get that in your thick skull. My name is Dreamon, the Belgian Waffle, and I've been your host for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. By the way, if you guys are able, please share and favorite these videos if you're already a subscriber. It would help me out a lot.